Now, new players coming into the league over the years, you won't believe what some cashed out on with their first NFL paychecks. With Saquon Barkley quickly emerging as one of the league's most dominant backs, shortly after coming out of his rookie year setting NFL records and putting his name on the map, Saquon said his main goal was to put himself in a position to buy his parents a home and also pay it off so they can live free for the rest of their lives. Barkley recently talked about this, saying, "I've been promising my mom, I think since I could talk, honestly 2 or 3 years old. I know it sounds crazy, but I'm gonna buy my mom a house one day. My family's been through so much and made so many sacrifices for my brothers and sisters. My parents are everything to me, and all the sacrifices they made, I wouldn't be the man I am today without those two, my mom and my father. So I'm definitely gonna buy those two a house that they can call home and not have to worry about anything." And with that being said, Saquon did just that. He bought their home for $425,000, setting his family up in a nice neighborhood, and he took his younger siblings into consideration, keeping them in their hometown in order to finish school with their friends and a place they're familiar with. His younger brother is also an aspiring high school running back at the same school that Saquon played at, and his younger brother will be the last Barkley to wear the number 21 for years to come. After gifting his family with a new home, Saquon posted a picture on his Instagram of him in front of the house with the caption saying, "Something I promised my parents about ever since I was a young kid. Finally able to achieve that goal is the most amazing feeling ever. Every kid out there has a dream. Continue to keep your head down and work your butt off. Great things will come along the way." One reporter even asked if the moment that he showed his parents the house was special, and Saquon said, "Obviously it's special. I just hope I can set an example for future athletes and other athletes that plan on doing something like that. I was able to do that without signing my contract. That just shows that so far, I've been making a lot of the right decisions and surrounding myself with a great team. They've been able to help me a lot. I have to give a lot of credit. One of my biggest goals was to buy my mom a house, and I was able to achieve that before I was able to sign my contract. That is a credit to my team, the guys around myself, Rock Nation, and the decisions made." Now, after Patrick Mahomes pretty much became a sensation right as he hit the NFL, breaking passing records and having the biggest breakout season by a quarterback in 15 years, with Mahomes' first NFL check, he copped a penthouse in Kansas City for $485,000. The home includes 2 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms, and a rooftop deck, but it wasn't enough for a future star in the league for years to come. He wanted to make his first big NFL purchase with his earnings, so recently he bought a massive mansion in a suburb of Kansas City, right outside of Mission Hill Country Club for $1.9 million. It's 3,759 square feet. This place has 3 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, a chef's kitchen, a swimming pool, and a master suite with a hot tub. And with Mahomes being an avid shoe collector as well, he had a room extended to showcase his gallery, as well as just make a space for his over 180 pairs of sneakers. The shoe closet includes special display lighting, cameras to prevent theft, and even a personalized entrance. With Patrick being sponsored by Adidas, it's no surprise that plenty of the brand is scattered throughout, but he said that he narrowed his collection down to around the 180 mark so that he could wear each pair at least twice a year. He also explained that his favorite Adidas shoes at the moment are the Yeezy Boost 750 Triple Blacks. Mahomes spoke about getting a solid place to call home in a city he loves when he said setting down roots in Kansas City was huge for us. "I think the people are what we love the most about Kansas City. We're trying to be here for a long, long time." Now, with LaDainian Tomlinson being known as one of the best running backs ever, eventually becoming the fastest player in NFL history to score 100 touchdowns back in 2006, he instantly got a huge deal right from the start of his professional career. And with LT being such a prized player, he got paid big time for his first NFL check. And when he was asked about what he bought with the money, he said, "I bought my mom a house and a new ride. She wanted the Cadillac Escalade, so that's what she got. Other than that, I put my money in the bank and invested it." It's a great feeling to be set financially, but it's overwhelming because you get so many phone calls. You become the guy that everyone looks at to pay the bills or help with business ideas. It's hard to say no to family members or friends that you love and grow up with, but you have to. Now, with Maurice Jones-Drew being drafted by the Jaguars in 2006, one of his first purchases was a home in the area of Jacksonville, Florida. He bought it for $850,000 back in 2006. The 2-story house is on about a third of an acre, and it features watered fairway views of the Mark McCumber designed golf course at Queens Harbor and Country Club. Built in 1999, the nearly 4,100 square feet of living space includes a living room with a fireplace, an updated kitchen, an exercise room, 5 bedrooms, and 5 bathrooms. Outside, there's a covered porch that opens to a screen pool and a spa. When MJD was asked about what he bought with his first paycheck in 2006, he said, "I was fined in my first preseason game for celebrating, so technically I didn't even get a first paycheck. But with my signing bonus, I bought a house and saved a lot of it. Even when I signed my contract, I never stopped doing my regular routine. I tell young players that whatever you do with your time and money, it's just going to enhance when you have money. Fortunately, earning large amounts of money didn't change me, but it was nice that if I wanted to do something, I could do it at the drop of a dime. I'm a spontaneous person, so it's nice to be able to do or buy something if I want." With David Carr being the first pick in the 2002 NFL Draft by the Houston Texans, he made a name for himself in the league, dominating for the Texans, but ended up playing for other teams, including the Panthers, Giants, and 49ers, and there were rumors that David would end up on the Raiders where his brother Derek currently plays. But Carr came from a wealthy family, and previous to getting his first NFL check, Carr and his wife already bought a house in Houston. But what he did get with that first check were some things that he needed for the house that he bought. Carr sat down and talked about his first purchase he made since joining the NFL and said, "We already bought a beautiful home in Houston, but we had nothing in it. I remember eating pizza while sitting on the floor with my wife, so first thing we did was buy a couch and a TV, then we paid the house off. It's very tempting to go out and blow it. Fortunately, I had a great support system, and my dad would have kicked my butt if I spent recklessly. My signing bonus was around $14 million. I told my dad that maybe I should cash it. He said, laughing, "You're gonna cash this? Where do you plan on putting that when you walk out of the bank?" Having that much money in a matter of seconds was like winning the lottery. I'd imagine there's no other way to equate it. It just kind of feels like you have monopoly money. One hard thing is you feel like you have to spend it because you're around all your teammates who are spending their money. It's an interesting dynamic, and you have to keep your head on straight. Otherwise, you're gonna end up on broke too. Nate Burleson was drafted by the Vikings in the 3rd round of the 2003 NFL Draft, and he made an impact in the league on the Vikings and Lions. Nate retired back in 2014, but has since worked with ESPN and still to this day occasionally appears on First Take in the mornings. But Nate recently spoke about what he bought with his first check in the NFL, and he said, "I bought an Escalade, a fake watch, and a fake chain. In my mind, I thought no one's gonna question if they were real because I was an NFL player. And I gave my parents money to help with the bills. Looking back, I wish I would have bought a more fuel-efficient vehicle and a home. Growing up, I was a multi-sport athlete and didn't specifically focus on an NFL career, so I had absolutely no clue what to expect. I remember the Vikings gave me a check for $529,000, and it was unbelievable. I was very frugal at first because I figured I better walk out of this career with more money than I'd come in with. I didn't know how long my career was going to last. I was a hoarder of my money early on because I didn't have the knowledge I wanted to about investments or buying properties or fancy things. The easiest thing for me was to just keep it in my bank account where I could see it." After growing up in South Florida and playing in the same league as Lamar Jackson and Hollywood Brown, Calvin went to Alabama where he proved to be a top pick in the draft. The Atlanta Falcons took Ridley with the 28th pick in the 1st round of 2018, and where he was paired up with arguably the best receiver in the league in Julio Jones. When Ridley was asked about what he was going to buy with his first NFL check, he said, "That's easy. I'm gonna help my mom get a place to stay and a nice car. That's the first thing I'm gonna do." A month after getting his first check, he returned home to South Florida to visit his family, where he surprised his mom with a brand new Cadillac Escalade. Ridley also said, "I was really happy because she was really happy. That's the goal. Give your mom the things she wants in life. She worked hard all of her life. It's time for me to pay her back. Now she's looking for that house." And Ridley was just one of 4 brothers who were being raised by a single mother, and after her son Calvin's success in the NFL, she was interviewed by Saturday Down South, where she said, "When the boys were coming up, I used to run with them and throw footballs with them. I wanted to make them stronger. Football, basketball, track. Those are usually men things. But I was a single parent. I felt I had to go out there and teach them." Heath Evans was drafted by the Seattle Seahawks in the 3rd round of the 2001 NFL Draft, and he instantly made an impact as a fullback, blocking for Shaun Alexander, who's a Hall of Fame running back. Other than the Seahawks, he played for the Dolphins, Patriots, and Saints before retiring. But he was recently asked about what he spent his first NFL check on, and he said, "First thing I did was bought my sister the Mercedes-Benz SUV that I always promised her. Being in Seattle, I remember going to Daniel's Broiler about once a week. That was how I splurged. I remember taking my signing bonus check to the bank before I left for training camp. It was so weird because I was walking around with a $500,000 check in my pocket. I opened a bank account with that check. And there was no verification process because it boldly said Seattle Seahawks at the top. People at the bank were like, "Oh, Mr. Evans, welcome to town." That was a cool day. And with Michael Robinson being drafted in the 4th round by the 49ers in the 2006 NFL Draft, and just like Tom Brady, he made a name for himself despite being drafted in a later round. Michael also played for the Seahawks, where he won a Super Bowl in 2014 and a 43-8 win over the Broncos. But looking back to when it came time for him to buy something with his first NFL check, Michael talked about this and said, "I bought some jewelry and a 2007 Chevrolet Tahoe when the vehicle's body style changed. I also bought a house for my signing bonus. I'm not gonna lie, I was scared to have a large sum of money. I thought somebody might rob me or take the money out of my account somehow. I'd never seen money on this scale before. I felt a responsibility like, whoa man, there's a lot of people looking at me with this money and I can't fail. I felt like if I failed and blew a check this big, it'd be embarrassing and a shame." Now with Taven Bryan making a name for himself at the University of Florida, he was drafted by the Jaguars with the 28th pick in the 1st round of the 2018 NFL Draft, and when he sat down to talk about his first NFL check and what he was going to spend it on, he said, "You know, I'm really excited about getting a house, maybe like renting or something. That'd be cool to have a place to put all my stuff finally. I think the only thing I could spend that money on is I'm a big gamer. I like gaming on PCs, so I'll have that set up. Maybe like a study place so I could study film and stuff." He was asked what about purchasing his dream truck or car, and he said, "Nah, they kind of depreciate too much, so I don't want one of those." Now last but not least, a player that's made a name for himself drawing comparisons to Michael Vick as one of the fastest quarterbacks in history. He sat behind Super Bowl winning quarterback Joe Flacco in 2018. Before his first season as a starter in 2019, Lamar's already shattering records. But after his first professional season as a backup quarterback in 2018, Lamar was already getting interviewed and asked what his favorite part of being a pro is, and he said, "I get to buy my parents a home." According According to ESPN, Lamar planned on buying a house in Baltimore as he's already looking forward to making himself a part of the Baltimore Ravens community for the long term. But Lamar was already set to cash out before his pro days, specifically when he was the starting quarterback at Louisville. He not only won the Heisman, but he also had a memorable play against Syracuse during his sophomore season where he cut to the outside and hurdled a defender and walked into the end zone. After his first NFL check, Lamar went to Miami and he had a jeweler customize a $100,000 diamond chain and pendant, which was the exact pose he was in while jumping over that defender. Lamar went to Stack's Custom Jewelry in Miami, where he got the piece which included 285 grams of solid gold, 25 carats of diamonds, and a one-of-a-kind square Cuban link